So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to build a 6-figure Turo business in 2025. And look, if you're a person watching this and you already have a Turo business and you're still running things the old way, let's change it. Now, what is the old way? You're still messaging everybody through the messaging system individually. You're the one that's doing all the pickup and drop-offs. You're the one that's still going and doing all the cleanings. Listen, if you started this business and you're like me, you did not start the business to give yourself another job. You started this to give yourself an income source. That's what we're going to be going over this video. And look, let's talk about how can we make this a reality, because I've worked with a ton of people now, scaling people from a 3K fleet to a 10K fleet, from a 10K fleet up to a 20K fleet. The main thing that we're gonna be going over in this video is how do you build systems so that this is less of a job and more of an actual business where other people and automations are actually working for you. Now, first thing let's talk about here is what exactly is the problem with the old way of doing things and why doesn't it work anymore? You could say the old way of Turo, or I would just say this is where a lot of people get stuck in businesses in general, which is that people get stuck in this hustle loop. Now, don't mistake this with me saying that working hard isn't important. If you want to have a business, you're always going to work hard. There is no shortcut to success. But what I do want you to know are there are things that you should be working hard at, and there are things that you shouldn't. And I'll give you an example. I have a client, his name's Jamal. He had a 10-car fleet out of Michigan. He comes to us, he's like, hey, look, I'm generating $5,000 to $6,000 a month, and I'm basically doing everything. I have no time. So time is really the big thing that he wants back. We look at his fleet, we're like, okay, Jamal, first of all, you should be generating at least $9,000 to $10,000 from this fleet, and you're saying you want your time back, so let's talk about how to make that a reality. So the very first thing is that he was still messaging all of his clients. Okay, we got him a VA and we showed the VA, these are the templates that we want you to use according to whatever problem that arises or what questions that the guests are asking. Second thing, Jamal was still doing all of his cleanings. I don't understand why, but basically we showed him, hey, this is how you need to communicate with local mobile detailing companies. This is how you negotiate with them so you get a rate that still allows you to be profitable. So, okay, now he doesn't have to do that anymore. And the third thing, we automated this pickup and drop-off process. He was doing deliveries, first of all. A little nugget of information for you guys. Turo is not a fan of deliveries in 2025. They're actually trying to move away from it because of some things that they're running into with local governments. But we took that away as well, made it where people had to meet him, not even meet him. The pickup and drop off was automated. He did not have to physically be there anymore. We automated that system. So month or two after that, instead of bringing in that $5,000 to $6,000, we got him up to over $9,000. And the biggest thing about that is that we had to get away from that old way of thinking because it wasn't working anymore. So, okay, here's the second thing that I want to talk about for how to get to that 6-figure business. We need to shift to more of systems and less to hustle. And I'm going to reiterate this point again. You're always going to have to work hard. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you need to be working hard at the right things, not at the wrong things. And for any of you that are into business, I'm sure you've heard this adage before, which is that you need to work less in your business and more on your business. Unless you're somebody that's just starting out. If you're just starting out, you need to be in the weeds and understand these individual things. This is more so when you're ready to get to the next level. So let's say you're somebody, you've been operating for 6 months to a year, you understand the day-to-day. Now we need to transition into the next phase of this business, which is, okay, Peter, so you're saying I need to install systems, but what systems do I need to take this to the next level? First thing again, you should not, well, you know what? Even better, I'll make this entertaining for you guys. I have another client that I worked with, Christina, smaller car fleet. She only had 3 cars. And more so of her challenge is that she had 3 cars, bring in decent revenue between $2,500 to $3,000 a month. So that wasn't the problem. The problem is that, again, worked a full-time job, and she just felt like this was taking up a lot of time and it wasn't equating to the money that she would like to see from it. So that's what we changed for, that it's like, okay, stop messaging all these people. Here's a VA. Here's a template that you can give the VA. Have them deal with that. And we're talking about VAs, you're paying them around $5 an hour. And for those of you who don't know, it stands for virtual assistant. You're basically paying somebody overseas where the American dollar goes significantly further than what it goes here, right? Okay, so that was step one. Step two, again, like Jamal, she's meeting people for pickup and drop-offs. We got to take that out. It needs to be completely automated pickup and drop-off. Guest goes there, they get the keys, they get in the car. Same thing when it comes to dropping off the car. Also, the other thing is we automated her cleaning systems where, okay, somebody was there to clean the vehicle. So what did this allow her to do? Now, instead of focusing in the business, doing all of those things specifically, now we could have a new conversation, which is, okay, Christina, you got in this business because you want to generate between 7 to 10K a month. Let's start talking about that. You've been operating this for about a year. Let's look into financing options. What insurance are you using? Are you covered the right way? Okay, great. Do you have the proper entity structure set up for this so that you can actually get financing? Okay, we want to expand what kind of vehicles that we should be getting. How do we do the proper market research? Those things are working on the business, while the VA, the mobile detailer, the automations, all of those things are now taken care of. So the main thing I want to get across for this second point is that hustling is still important, but you need to be focusing on how you can generate more money, not just doing the same things that you've been doing for the last 6 months or for the last year. And look, if you're the kind of person where you're watching this video and you're like, hey, look, I like the idea of a car rental business. I have some money I want to put into this and I want to get a good return. I just don't want to deal with all these mistakes that I'm hearing these other clients that they've dealt with. Or even, guys, let me tell you, I've spent a lot of money making mistakes myself. That's the whole reason why we built the car rental coach system, where basically what it is that we offer one-to-one coaching where we help you achieve the goals that you've really set out for, whether if that's a 5-car fleet or a 15-car fleet. If that's something that you think you'd be interested in, go to carrentalcoach.com, fill out the 60-second survey. If you're qualified to work with us, me or a member of my team will get on a call with you personally. We'll analyze your market. We'll see if there's a way that we could help you. So the next part of this video is going to talk about, or basically what I'm going to be talking about is that you guys have seen part one here, which is people that started the business, they got burned out in one way or another. Whether if that they're not making enough money where this is worth it for them, or if this is just taking too much time and the money doesn't make sense. So you see what it looks like being burned out, and the main premise of the video so far is that you gotta implement systems and focus on the right things when it comes to working. So the second part I want to talk about is, okay, how do we start to change our current system or build the right system from scratch? Okay, so part one we're going to talk about is basically your strategy going into this. And I'll give you guys an example. When I say your strategy going in, there's a client that I just started working with. They wanted to start a car rental business. It's actually a husband and a wife couple. Their big thing is that it's okay, we want to get into this, but we want to make sure that we do the proper market research. That's where I want to call, and I'm like, well, what do you mean the proper market research? They're like, well, you know, we were thinking that we were going to get a couple luxury cars because they would do well, but then we saw your videos and we don't think they do as well. So basically what I did for them is that, and I didn't even have an answer on that call, I had to do the market research myself and look to see, okay, what are the most popular vehicles? Now, what exactly does that mean if you're doing this research yourself? You want to look at, okay, what vehicles are running out the most? What vehicles are the most reliable in regards to maintenance and all of those things? And those vehicles that are the most popular, have they had any kind of like recalls or anything like that? Because you don't want to buy one and then there's a new recall. Turo will delist your vehicle immediately. So you want to make sure that you're doing the market research to figure out a car that will actually do well in your area. Please do not buy a car just because you think it looks cool or because it's expensive. Get cars that will actually give you a return on investment. That's what we're here for. I know that's why you guys are watching. Now, part one, you have done the research for a vehicle. Part two, now you have to buy the right vehicle. Now, the right vehicle specifically, what I think, is a car that's going to pay itself off within a 6 to 12 month time frame. That's where you need, after doing your research to see how much money the car will generate, now you know what you have to buy it for. Okay, so now let's say that you have a vehicle, you got it for a good price. How do you stand out from the competition? And I'll give you an example for our own fleet. So George and I, we're both based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, have a fleet of over 50 cars at the moment. How do we get our vehicles to stay consistently at an 80% utilization? For those of you that are new, just a fancy term for how many days that the cars are rented out. That's between 22 to 23 days a month. But how do we stay above that? Okay, and this is good to know for anybody watching this in 2025. Turo's algorithm is forever changing for what they deem to be important. Right now, what's important is going to be the pictures, the description, the pricing model, which has changed significantly in the last year. So this is not just a set and forget kind of thing for pricing. You want to make sure that you understand the dynamic pricing and that you're making sure to adjust it accordingly. Even to give you guys an example, we're filming this video right before the 4th of July. 4th of July, super busy time for car rentals. This is a time to raise rates so you can make more money. Fourth thing is your discount structure. Fifth thing, there's like 7 different backend settings. We're just gonna lump them in one for time's sake for this video. But you wanna make sure that those things are in order so that you actually beat out the competition. Because look, the majority of the competition, they're not like you guys. They're not watching videos like this to figure out, oh, how can I really get like an edge here and an edge there so I can make more money in this? The majority of people, they have a spare car or they bought 1 or 2 cars for this that are too expensive. And they're just like, oh, like I saw that my buddy on Facebook made some money. Maybe I can make some money. But y'all watching this are different. You're trying to figure out how can I actually be profitable, not just for 1 month, not just for 2 months, consistently. Those are the things that you need to look at for Turo. And we're going to do another video for private rentals is much more in depth, because we're the ones that have to focus on the marketing, and there's a couple different ways that you can do that. But for Turo, those are the things that you want to focus on. So now, okay, you've done the market research, you got a car, you listed the car's renting. Now let's talk about the next part, which is you need to have automations in play. Now, just like the 2 stories that I told you earlier, neither of those clients had automations. What does that even mean, actually? I'm jumping ahead of the gun. Automations specifically are processes where you do not have to be manually involved in them. So a prime example would be for pickup and drop off. You can have automated pickup and drop off messages so that then when the client gets to the car, they're not like, oh, where's the key? Where's this? Where's that? How do I open the trunk? Boom, all in an automated message. Another thing when it comes to cleanings. For those of you starting out, clean your own car for at least 10 or 20 trips so you know what your process needs to look like. For those of you that are past that, once you understand it, hire it out to a mobile detailer. And listen, don't just call anybody and let them give you a rate. Get on, explain what your business is about, explain the vision that you have for your business. Hey, I'm not just somebody that wants 1 or 2 cars. I want 7 cars. I want 10 cars. This is going to be a long-term business relationship. They're much more likely to work with you and to give you a better rate when you sell them on that vision. So, okay. Messaging, cleaning, also when it comes to messaging guests, when you have more vehicles, I'm telling you, get a VA. It'll be around $5 an hour. It's great, save you a significant amount of time. So, okay, let's run through this again. We did market research, we found a vehicle, we listed the vehicle, we have our processes in place. So now the 4th thing that I want you guys to focus on, which is, okay, I've done all this and I have 1 vehicle. Let's say I have 2 vehicles. You did not start this business to have 1 or 2 cars. You started this business so that you could have a solid income stream coming in where you basically don't have another job. Well, Peter, how do I get there? Okay. Well, the next thing that you need to focus on is, okay, I have these 2 vehicles that are working. I know how to do market research. Let me do more market research and figure out what vehicles are good. Okay, you figured that out. Let's say maybe you ran out of money. Well, now you've been operating this business for 6 months to a year. You can approach financial institutions SBA isn't a financial institution, but you can go through them to get special loans through banks where now you can possibly get funding for this business. Now, instead of using your own money, you can use the bank's money to go and get more vehicles. And now once you get more vehicles, now keep building out those SOPs for more and more cars. Now you have something serious on your hands with a 10-car fleet or a 20-car fleet. And look, again, if you're the kind of person, you're serious about growing this, and you like this video, you want to work with us, go to carrentalcoach.com, fill out the 60-second survey. If you're qualified to work with us, me or a member of my team will get on a call with you, and we'll show you how to actually grow this into a business. But appreciate everybody watching this, and I'll see you guys on the next one.